everyone. This is Gina. In my last tutorial, I showed you how to make a crystal cube necklace. Today, I'm going to show you how to make the matching earrings. Just like in the necklace, we'll start with a ladder stitch, and through the ladder stitch, we'll work a fringe and a little top ruffle embellishment. Through the top ruffle embellishment, we will then work a connection for our ear wires. So, for this project, you are going to need 28 4mm crystal cubes. You will need 10 3mm round crystals. I am using a clear with an AB finish. You will need a 10-0 check seed bead, or it doesn't have to be a check. I'm using a check, and it is metallic silver. You will need a 15-0 seed bead. I am using a Toho galvanized silver. And my crystals are meridian blue in color. You will need 2 ear wires. I'm using lever backs, silver plated, and you will need 2 wire guardians. So we will get started with this by threading a little over an arm length of fire line 6-pound onto our needle. I am using a size 10. We will start with 5 units of ladder stitch. Now, I went through ladder stitch in the Crystal Cube Part 1 video. So if you need to refer back to that for your ladder stitch, please do. To save time today, I'm not going to go through the ladder stitch. You will need to make 5 units, however. You will want to sew through each unit at least twice, maybe 3 times, just to make sure they're very tight and very neat. Pull your string very tight underneath and over the top by pulling your tail and your working thread to make sure everything's very tight and neat. Leave a very short tail. You won't need the tail, and we will cut it off. So make sure that your ladder stitch is tight enough and reinforced enough to where when you cut off your little tail, you're not worried that your ladder stitch is going to fall apart. Now, we will be coming out of what I'm going to refer to as the bottom of our ladder stitch. This is our working thread, and this is the stitch we will be coming out of. We will start there with our fringing. We will start with a 1 cube unit of fringe. And to do that, we will pick up, let's move out a little bit. We will pick up 2 10-0 seed beads, a crystal cube, a 10-0, and a 15. We will drop them down to the ladder stitch. We will go around the 15 and up through our first cube in our ladder stitch. We will then pick up a 10, a 3mm round, and a 10. We are going to now position our thread by making the top fringe so that we can get into the second cube and make our second fringe. So we will go through the second cube in our ladder stitch and pull, and then we will pick up 2 10s, a cube, 2 10s. We're going to make a 2 cube unit this time, so 2 more 10s, another cube, a 10, and a 15. And we'll drop it down to our ladder stitch, and again travel up around the 15 through all the beads that you just added into the ladder stitch, avoiding the 10-0 on top, and pull. Again, we are on top. And we need to move through the cube, so we will add our embellishment to position our needle to move through the cube to make our next fringe. So we will put on a 10-0, a 3mm crystal, and a 10-0. And now we are in our middle cube, so we will make our longest fringe, which will be a 3 cube unit. We will pick up 2 10s, a cube, 2 10s, and a cube, 2 10s, and a cube, a 10, and a 15. And we'll drop them down to our ladder stitch. Go around the 15 and then up through all of the beads you just added. Back up through the ladder stitch cube and pull. If you find things are loosening up, you can grab a hold of the 15 and then just pull your thread. That will tighten everything up. Again, we are on top. Pick up a 10, a 3mm cube, a 10, go down into your next cube in your ladder stitch and pull. And you will find that the beads on top don't sit perfectly next to each other. They kind of ruffle, and that's okay. That's the effect I was going for. If you don't like that effect, you want them to sit straight, try using an 11 seed bead instead of a 10. That will probably fix the issue. I personally kind of like it to ruffle, so I use the 10 for that reason. Now we are going to make our next 2 cube unit. So we're going to pick up 2 10s, a cube, 2 10s, a cube, a 10, and a 15. Go around the 15, up through all the beads you just added, avoid the 10 on top, and pull your thread through. Again, my fringe on top is loose or my embellishment on top is loose, so I am going to grab a hold of my 15 and tighten everything up. You tighten it too much and you'll get your beads kind of, they'll kind of lay funny. So don't go too crazy with it. All right, so we're going to add our last unit of fringe. We're on top, so we need to add our embellishment first, a 10, a 3mm, a 10. Go through the crystal in the ladder stitch. Pick up 2 10s, a crystal cube, a 10, and a 15. Avoid the 15 and sew back through all the beads. Excuse me. Pull back through. Tighten everything up, make sure everything looks good. And at this point, I'm going to cut off my tail. Or the tail. This is not my tail. Ha ha. Okay. Now, I'm going to get us in really close here. And I'm going to show you how we're going to add our little connection for our ear wire. This little bead right here, this little 10-0, we are going to travel up through it and then through the crystal right next to it. Now my beads aren't quite tight enough, so I am going to tighten everything up. And argue with my thread. Put your needle through the 10-0 and through the first little crystal there. Pull through. And now that you're coming out of that crystal, you will pick up 8 10-0 seed beads onto your needle. Eight. One, two, three, four. Yep, that's 8. and a 3mm crystal. Now we're going to use our wire protector as a connection for our ear wire. I don't always use these in earrings, but for this design it just seemed logical and it worked out really well. So I'm going to sew through my wire protector now. I'm going to go through one tube on one side and pull it through. Bring it down to the crystal and go through the other side of the wire protector. I'm going to put my thumb and my finger together tight and squeeze and guide my thread into the divot on top of the wire protector. Now I'm going to sew back through the crystal, and only the crystal. I'm going to hold on to my beads. And this is what you have. Now we're going to add 8 more seed beads. They're your 10 O's. So count out to 8 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. Then go through, on this side we're going to go through the crystal and this little tiny 10-0. Now, we want to be able to work our way around so that we can come back through this a couple of times. Here we go. We need to work our way around so that we can come back through this and reinforce it at least one more time. For earrings, it's not, you don't have to go through it 3 and 4 and 5 times, but at least twice. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to go back down through this crystal cube here on the very end where my thread is closest to. And then I'm going to go back through this entire fringe stitch. It can be a little tricky, but you just have to kind of work your way through. Get through this 10-0 on the bottom. Then go through your 15-0. Then back through your 10-0 and back up the entire stitch. That will position your thread so that you can work your way back up again. Now we are going to go back through this little 10-0 here in the corner, back up through our crystal, and we are going to sew and reinforce what we just did prior to going down through the fringe. Sew up through your horseshoe again, and this can be rather stubborn. And sometimes a size 10-0 doesn't want to fit through the horseshoe very well, so if you need to, you can take your straight nose pliers and pull it through very gently. Now that I've gone through the horseshoe, I'm going to go through the crystal and all of the beads on this side, including the 3mm crystal and the little 10-0, and pull tight. Let's get you a little closer here. And this is what you should have. Now, your little wire guardian doesn't sit quite correctly, so you're going to take your little straight nose pliers, and it's best if you come from the top angle and just gently squeeze the wire together, or the wire protector together. until it sits on top of your bead nicely. And that's what it should look like. Now, you have sewn through your connection twice, which for the sake of the video, that is enough for me. I'm just going to go ahead and knot off. But if you'd like to, you can sew through just your ladder stitch here and come back through and around this way if you'd like, instead of having to go back down through your fringe. Now, I'm going to go down through this first cube again. Okay, I'm going to take my thread bridge under here, go underneath it, move my fringe apart a little, and tie a half hitch knot. Then I'm going to come back up just through the next cube in my ladder stitch unit without disturbing my fringe or my embellishment on top. And again through the middle. Oops. Now I'm going to snip off the thread. And just kind of straighten everything up. Checked seed beads are a little bit different in size. They're not really uniform like Japanese seed beads, so sometimes you get a little bit of a flaring look with it. You can use Toho or Miyuki if you don't like that. Okay, so now that we have that done, we are going to connect our ear wire. I am just going to open the ear wire itself. You can add a jump ring if you'd like, but that adds length, and I don't want to add length, so I'm just going to open my lever back. If you can see that, opened it up. I'm going to slide my wire protector onto it, and then I'm going to close it, wiggle it a little bit, and there's an earring that will match perfectly to the necklace. And here's your finished earrings with the necklace we made last week. Makes a very impressive set. Very pretty, shiny, and just scrumptious. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day. Bye-bye.